Okay, so some of the strongest muscles and ligaments of the body are found in the hips. And when we feel tension in our lives, if we're stressed in any way, then a lot of that tension holds itself in the hips. And when the hips are restricted or blocked, it stops the free flow of life energy moving around the body, which is essential to our well-being. So we're going to be working on some hip openers today. The actual physical asana, so the hip opener poses we'll do, obviously they help to unblock that, so the life energy can flow freely in the body again. But in terms of our attitude, it's helpful for us to be able to surrender, both to the poses and actually in our lives, when we can accept what is. It means that we can soften rather than resisting and tightening. We need to learn to open and accept what is, so that we don't cause more tension in the body. So in the poses today, I'm just going to encourage you to breathe into some of the deeper hip openers. Okay, so we'll start in a comfortable seated position. Just widen the thighs. So we take the underneath of the thigh, we draw it back. Rest your hands just lightly on the thighs, drawing them back so the upper arm is vertical. Draw the shoulders back. Lengthen the sides of the neck and close your eyes. And I want you to start by really leaving aside any thoughts of your week, any worries, and bring your focus to the present moment. To your yoga mat and inside to the breath. Just start by observing the natural rhythm and flow of your breath as it comes in through the nostrils and goes out through the nostrils. Notice where the breath is in the body, whether it's more in the belly, the mid-chest or the upper chest, whether it's more in the left or the right side of the lungs. And then just bring your thumbs to your armpits. I want you to lift the front of the body. So you lift them up, draw them back, keeping that lift in the side of the body. Release the hands down. And then notice if there's any difference in your breath. The breath should now rise up to the top of the chest more easily. Starting at the base of the spine, the breath rises up the body, filling the lungs from bottom to top, and then exhaling from top to bottom. Allow your pelvis to sink down so that you feel connected to the earth. And then from that stable base, the breath rises up freely, all the way up the spine, extending up through the crown of the head. Opening up the body. So just take a few more conscious breaths, relaxing the muscles of the face, relaxing the root of the tongue. And then bring your hands together in front of the heart. Just honoring the self. Honoring just where you are in this present moment. And then release the hands and open the eyes. So we'll just start by lying on our backs now. Place any blocks to the side. And I want you to start by stretching out. So extend your legs straight. Extend your arms alongside your ears. Flex the feet, the toes point up towards the ceiling. And just start by allowing the tops of the thighs to descend. So you need to slightly arch the back. I want you to take your sit bones more towards the floor. The inner thighs root down and back. And then, keeping the tops of the thighs moving down, scoop the tailbone. So you pull your lower belly up. Great. And then on your next exhalation, draw the right knee in towards your chest. I want you to take hold of the back of the thigh rather than the knee. Keep the top of your left thigh descending, and then push your right foot towards the front of the room. So if you spread the toes wide, especially the little toe, great. Good. And then take a couple of deep breaths, just allowing the inhalation to lengthen your spine down through the tailbone, up through the crown of the head. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your throat. And then on your next exhalation, we'll extend the legs straight up towards the ceiling. Great. So keep pressing the back of the thigh into the hands. And then I want you to take your inner left thigh, see if you can keep spiraling that down towards the floor. So the inner thigh moves faster towards the floor and the outer thigh turns up towards the ceiling. The left leg is strong. You spread across the toes, so the little toe spreads out to the side. And then I want you to spiral your right thigh out to the side. Good. So you're widening the right thigh. Good. Take a couple more breaths. If you're practicing this at home and you can't reach the back of the thigh easily, then you can always take a strap and you can loop it over the ball of the foot. We'll just demonstrate that. But I want you not to feel you have to draw the leg nearer towards your chest. The purpose of the exercise is to draw the outer right hip back, so the femur tucks back into the hip, and to keep the top of the left thigh really grounded. Good. Now we're going to take the right leg wide. So bringing it out to the side. And just notice as you do that, if your left thigh wants to come up, so it stops rooting down to the earth, what we can do is we can bend the left knee, so just bring your foot in towards the groin, and then let the knee flop out to the side. So both sides of the pelvis rest evenly on the floor. I think we'll use a strap as well, Louise. Did you get one? Where's it gone? Oh, here's one. Oh, I took yours, didn't I? Great. So take both straps in your right hand, and then you can take the leg out to the side. Good. From the pelvis, get longer through the bones. Good. So just release the left hand down. Great. Good. Take a couple of breaths there. And then inhaling, bring your leg back up to center. Now we're going to turn the foot and the knee slightly out to the side, and then bending your knee, you're going to take the knee towards your armpit. So turn it out slightly, draw it down. So again, if you can reach your foot, then grab hold of the foot. That's it. So if you don't need the strap, make sure the foot is parallel to the ceiling. Draw the foot back and down, and then at the same time, push up through the foot. Good, but keep the knee, rather than straightening the leg, keep the knee bent. Great. So if you need to use your strap, you can use the strap. And then on your next exhalation, release the foot, straighten the leg up towards the ceiling once more. This time we'll extend your left leg flat along the floor. Bending the right knee. Tuck your big toe under the left knee. So release the strap now. That's it. You can just pop the straps to the side. Shift your hips to the right a little, and then we'll take the knee across the body, coming into a twist. Great. Sweep your right arm open to the floor, taking the gaze. So we're coming this way with the arm, Eve. That's it. Good. So taking the gaze over towards the right hand and just relaxing the shoulder down. Again, just arch the back slightly, so you take the groins back, and then as you scoot the tailbone, see if you can extend your top hip away from you. So we're opening up the side of the body. That's it, great. Relax the throat. And then on your next inhalation, we'll come back to center. Just straighten up the body once more. Flex the feet, ground the tops of the thighs. Take your arms alongside the ears. Scoop the tailbone, lengthening out the back of the body. And then on your next exhalation, we'll draw the left knee into the chest. Good. Again, I want you to grab hold of the back of the thigh rather than the knee. And then taking the top of your right thigh down, if you press your foot towards the front of the room, that's great. So you're beautifully spreading your toes. And then press your foot into my hand. So the knee will actually move a little away from the chest, and you'll find the sit bones move back towards the earth. What we don't want is the opposite, where when we draw the knee too close to the body, the sit bones lift up and the back gets flat. So I want to take it the other way, taking the top of the femurs back down towards the floor. Great. Take a nice deep breath, extending the spine, down through the tailbone, up through the crown of the head. And then on your next exhalation, we'll straighten the leg, taking the foot up towards the ceiling. So using your strap if you want to. If you're holding the back of the thigh, press the back of the thigh into the hands. Inner rotate your right thigh, so the inner thigh moves down towards the earth. And outer rotate the left thigh. Good. Relax the shoulders. That's great. And just breathe into the stretch. Each inhalation, imagine you're getting longer through the bones. Each exhalation, we're softening and surrendering to the stretch. Then bending your right knee, bring your foot to the floor. Let the knee flop out to the side, so you come onto the side of the foot, and then we'll open the left leg wide. So Eve, I think we'll use the strap for this one. So as you take the leg wide, just notice what your pelvis is doing. See if you can rest both sides of the back of the pelvis evenly on the floor. And then from the pelvis, get long through the bones of the legs. On your next inhalation, bring the foot back up to center. Extend your right leg straight along the floor now. Great. And then bending your knee, so release the strap if you've got one. Tuck your left big toe under your right knee. Good. Now see if you can shift your hips a little to the left. So if you press into your right heel, you can lift your hips up and shift them a little that way, and then bring the knee across the body coming into the twist. That's it, bring it all the way across towards the floor. Great. Open up your left arm and take the gaze over your left shoulder towards the fingertips of the left hand. Slightly arch the back, so stick your bottom out. And then as you scoot the tailbone, extend the top hip away from you. And you can use your right hand to gently push it towards the front of the room. So the left side of the body is opening up. Great. Sweep the left shoulder blade underneath the heart so the inner shoulder reaches down towards the earth. Relax the throat and take your awareness back to the breath. On your next inhalation, bring it back to center. Bring both knees in towards you. And then rolling over to the right, we'll come up to sitting. So let's bring the right leg in front. And I want you to take it a little further away from the body. So just shuffle it towards me. And then take it more across to your left. Good. Then we'll do the same with the other leg. Bring it forwards. And then take it more to the right. So what we're aiming to do is to make a sort of triangle. Yeah, but it'll be different for everybody. So some of you will find they'll stay quite close to the body. Some of you will be able to almost make a straight line with the ankles directly underneath the knees. Again, widen the thighs. Flex the feet, so press your little toes down into the floor. Bring your fingertips onto the floor behind your buttocks. And then inhale, lift up, lengthening the front of the body. And then exhaling, hinging at the hips, start to bow forwards. Good. Now I want you to keep the shoulders drawing back. So in our enthusiasm to bow forwards, the inner shoulder tends to fall forwards and the head moves down. See if you can draw the shoulders back again. So Eve, take the sides of the throat back as well. Eve, lift your head a little, so look more, yeah, great, good. Then, if you're finding this nice and easy, you can bring the hands forward and melt the heart down a little further. But watch out for the back rounding. So if you find yourself like this, just bring the hands back again and imagine you're sticking your bottom out, so the lower spine keeps moving in and up. Good. One more breath. And then inhaling, lengthen up through the crown of the head as you rise. And we'll change the cross of the legs. Great. Widen the thighs once more. Flex the feet. So we're pressing the little toes down into the floor, give you a deeper hip stretch. Bring the fingertips to the floor just behind your buttocks. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Start to bow forwards. Good. Keep the shoulders moving back. The spine is long. Then if you want to deepen the stretch, you can bring the hands forward. That's great, Louise. Taking a nice deep breath. On each inhalation, the spine gets long. On each exhalation, we just surrender a little more. So softening from the inside. And then on your next inhalation, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Great. So bring your legs back towards you so you can rock forwards and come onto all fours now. As you place your hands, just ensure that the crease of the wrist is pointing directly forward. So there's a line from the middle of your wrist that goes through the middle of your peace fingers. Press the finger pads down. Press the base of the knuckles down. And then as you gently hug the forearms in, see if you can just melt the heart down a little. So Louise, just take the elbows out to the side a little bit more. Yeah, great. So if you've got very flexible elbows, what happens is the crease of the elbow wants to move forwards. So just turn it in a little and soften the elbows. Great. And then lifting the sit bones, tuck the toes under, stretch it back, downward facing dog. So keep rooting down through the hands. Lift your armpits, drawing from your hands up into the armpits. And we'll start by just bending the knees so we can push into the hands, lengthen the spine, and lift the sit bones a little higher. Then as you slowly descend the heels, see if you can keep that length in the spine. Scoop the tailbone, rooting down from your pelvis, down through your heels. And then just lift the throat once more so you can draw the shoulder blades towards one another. On your next inhalation, look forwards, drop to the knees. Keeping the hands where they are, release the toes, exhaling, sit back into child's pose. Inhale, come up to all fours. Exhale, tuck the toes under, stretch it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forwards, drop to the knees. Exhale, release the feet, take it back, child's pose. So keep going in your own time, following the flow of your breath, keeping the hands constant, and just gently flowing from one movement to another, waking up the body. We'll do a couple more rounds. Keep the throat lifted. So lift your head a little, lift the gaze, and soften here, more softening the heart area. Good. So do one more round, and we'll finish the round in downward facing dog. Louise, turn the hands slightly out to the side more. Good. And root down more through the mound of the index finger. And then when you come to downward facing dog, we'll pause there once more. So soften the elbows out to the side, lift the throat, good. And then just melt the heart. Great. We can bring the head down a tiny bit and then squeeze the shoulder blades together. Good. Now take the heart back towards the thighs. Yeah, lovely. Good. Yeah, great. On your next inhalation, we'll raise the right leg. Now bending your knee, I want you to scoop the tailbone, raising your knee up towards the ceiling, coming into what I call dog pea pose. I think that's the best explanation. So bend the knee more, that's it. Lift the knee up, scoop the tailbone. And then notice the left armpit wants to collapse. So lift your left armpit and then descend your left heel more. Good. Louise, descend the left heel now. Great, lift the knee a little higher. And then looking forwards, we'll step the right foot to the front of the mat. Great, so we want to have a nice big long lunge. And if the foot doesn't quite make it, you can always come through hands and knees, take hold of the leg and draw it forwards manually. So we'll lift the left knee. Great. Spread the toes of the right foot and then look back to your left foot. Spread the toes of the left foot. And then I want you to draw your right heel back and your left heel forwards. So we're firing up the muscles of the legs, drawing the hips level. Good. Keep extending back through your left heel so your left thigh is engaged and lifted. Scoop the tailbone and then melt the heart down as you come deeper into the lunge. Good. As you deepen into the lunge, make sure your left thigh doesn't collapse down. So you have to keep reaching back through the heel. Inhale, draw the feet together. Exhale, get long through the bones, extending through your left heel and out through the crown of the head. Stay up on the fingertips if you can, so that you can soften the heart area. Good. 2 more breaths. And then ground the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. On your next inhalation, raise the left leg, bend the knee, scooping the tailbone, open it up, so coming back into dog pea pose. If you spread the toes of the left foot, then that helps to activate the muscles. Good. Now see if you can take the knee more out to the side, Eve. Yeah, great. And then just keep the right armpit lifted and descend your right heel. Good. And then take the foot forwards between your hands. Great. So again, you can grab hold of the foot, bring it to the front of the mat. That's great. Spread across the toes of the left foot and then look back to your right foot and spread across the toes of the right foot. Drawing your left heel back and the right heel forwards, so you're hugging the hips towards one another. Inhale and get long through the bones. Extend back through your right heel and through the crown of the head towards the front of the rim. And then as you exhale, soften and deepen into the stretch. Good. See if you can squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another. Keep the lower belly toned, so draw your lower belly up into the spine. Eve, extend back a little more through your right heel so your right thigh stays lifted. That's great. Good. 1 more breath. And then grounding the hands, step it back once more, downward facing dog. On your next inhalation, raise the right leg. Step it forwards to the front of the mat. Great. This time we'll drop the left knee and we'll come up to Crescent Lunge. Great. So it's quite important for Crescent Lunge that the feet are far enough apart. If they're too close together, you end up sort of balancing on your knee, which can be quite wobbly. So it's a nice long lunge. Then the knee comes to the floor. Great. Keep the toes of the back foot tucked under. Bring your hand to your front thigh. So take your groins back now. We want the inner thighs to move back and apart. The head of the femur tucks back into the hips. And then scoop the tailbone and lunge forwards. Draw the heel of the right foot back, the left knee forward, so that again the hips are drawing towards one another. And then releasing your hands, inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Great, hug it in with the arms. And then again, lift your lower belly, drawing the belly up. Great, and then if you want to, you can draw the shoulders back, start to curl back. Just take it to where's good for you. If facing the front of the room is enough, then that's fine. One more breath. Exhaling, bring the hands once more to the earth and step it back, downward facing dog. If at any point you find that you get tired, you can always come and rest in child's pose, which is with the buttocks resting on the heels. Just take a few breaths there. Otherwise, on your next inhalation, we'll raise the left leg and step it forwards to the front of the mat. Drop the right knee. Great. Bring your hands to your front knee. And then again, take the groins back. So the inner thighs are moving back and apart. Bow forwards. See if you can stick your buttocks out behind you. And then scooping the tailbone, come forwards into Crescent Lunge. Great. Draw the heel of the left foot back, the knee on the right side forwards, and then inhaling, sweep the arms to the sky. Keep drawing your lower belly up, so you're tucking the tailbone under. Draw the shoulders back, and if you want to, we can curl back. Good. That's great, guys. One more breath. And then as you exhale, bring the hands alongside the front foot. This time, we'll step it forwards to the front of the mat to Uttanasana. Separate your feet hip width apart. And then just make sure the feet are parallel. So there's a line that goes from the center of your ankle through the second toe. Lift the toes, spread them out, place them down. Engage the thigh muscles, so drawing from above the kneecaps up towards your pelvis, and then inhale, look forwards. Lengthen your spine out of your pelvis, shrug your shoulders back, and then exhaling, fold in. Bringing your hands to your hips. Shrug the shoulders back, so the chest is open, and then rooting down through your pelvis, come all the way to standing. And then just place the hands over the heart, close your eyes, and come back to your ground of being. And then release the hands, open the eyes. Great. So we'll take a wide stance now. Let's face that side of the room. Great. So take the feet nice and wide. And if you take your hand out to the side, you can just check that your ankles are underneath your wrists. Eve, maybe take the feet a little wider. Great. And then release it down. Bring your hands to your hips first of all. Great. So we'll start by turning the right foot out. Great. Check that your feet are lined up so the heel of the front foot is about in line with the middle of the back foot. Great. And then we'll come down into a lunge. Good. So notice as you come into the lunge what your front knee is doing. If it's wanting to fall in, just draw it out so the outer edge of your thigh is parallel with the edge of your mat. Good. And then we'll bring the elbow down to the front thigh. Now reach down, just press your inner left thigh. Notice if it's feeling kind of soft and squishy or whether the muscle is activated. And then I want you to raise the toes of the foot so you're just rooting down through the inner edge of the foot. Now hug the feet strongly towards one another, drawing them into the center, and then reach down again. See if the muscles are now engaged. Good, keep that there. Spread the toes, so placing the rest of the toes down. Draw the underside of the waistline round. Shrug your left shoulder back, and then sweep the arm alongside the ear, Parsvakonasana. Great. And then just descend the front thigh, another centimeter or two. Good. So as we inhale, we're hugging the muscles into the bones, hugging the feet towards one another, drawing into the core. And then as we exhale, we get long through the bones, extending down through the left foot and up through the fingertips of the hand. Beautiful. One more breath. And then root down, come back up to standing. Turn the right foot in and the left foot out. Great. So make sure the toes are pointing directly forward. So Eve, just bring the heel towards me a little. Great. And then we'll bend the knee, coming into a lunge. Great. So start by hugging the feet towards one another. Watch that front knee again. Just turn the knee out towards your little toe more, Eve. Good. And then bring the elbow to rest on the thigh. Lift the toes of your right foot now, and then pressing down through the inner edge of the foot, draw the feet towards one another till you feel your inner right thigh activated, and then keeping that, spread the toes, place them down. Bring the underside of the waistline round, shrug your right shoulder back, take the sides of the throat back, then sweep the arm alongside the ear. Parsvakonasana. Good. So get longer from the pelvis out through your right foot, Eve. That's beautiful. Great. Louise, descend the front thigh another centimeter. Great. Keep rooting down strongly through the right foot as you revolve the left side of the waistline underneath you so you can take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. One more breath. And then root down strongly through the back foot, sweep the arms, come back up to standing. We'll turn the left foot in and we'll come back to the first side. So turn your right foot out. Make sure the feet are aligned once more, so the heel of the right foot's in line with the middle of the back foot. And then this time we're going to come to Warrior Two. So Virabhadrasana 2. Great. Now again, we're going to hug the feet in towards one another. So we're drawing energy in towards the core. And then from the pelvis, we're going to extend out through the front knee. So sometimes in this pose, we tend to lean forwards. I want you to take your awareness more to the fingertips of your left hand. Good. And then from your pelvis, get longer through the bones of the right leg as you descend your front thigh. Good. Great. Now bring your arms behind you, clasp your hands. Great. Draw the shoulders back. So lift the throat, open up the chest, and then exhaling, bow forwards to the inner edge of your front foot. Good. Raise your arms. Keep rooting down strongly through the outer edge of your left foot. Now that's your anchor. Great. And then hook your right shoulder across the knee. See if you can open it up towards the ceiling. So if you curl your left shoulder back, I've got my left and right. So hook the right shoulder over the right knee and then curl the left shoulder back. See if you can take the gaze to the ceiling, Eve. Beautiful. And then rooting down strongly through the breath, through the pelvis, come back up to standing. Oh, well done. That was a good one. Okay, so we'll take it to the other side. Turn the left foot out. Good. So again, turn the toes out a little more, Eve. Yep. Now bring your right foot a bit further forwards towards me. So the heel of your front foot is in line with the middle of your back foot. Great. Let's bring... we'll start with the arms out to the side, classic warrior pose. So come into the lunge. Hug the feet towards one another. And then from your pelvis, extend out through your left knee. So there should be a straight line from the crown of the head down through the heart, down through the hips. If you take your awareness more to the fingertips of the right hand, helps you to remember the back body. The back body relates to the universe. Now soften, relax the shoulders. Good. Reach round, clasp your hands behind your back. Draw the shoulders back, opening up the chest and the throat. And then exhaling, bow forwards, taking your heart towards the inner edge of your left foot and bring your arms up behind you. Good. Now keep rooting down strongly through the back foot. That's your anchor. Now see if you can tuck your left shoulder on the outer edge of the knee. Curl your right shoulder back and take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Good. Great. So take the sides of the throat back, lean. That's it. Beautiful. And then rooting down strongly through the pelvis, come back up to standing. Turn the foot in. Turn the right foot out. And then swiveling the back foot, sweep the arms alongside the front foot. We'll come back to hands and knees. Take the knees wide. Taking your inner thighs back and apart, take your buttocks back towards your heels. Scoop the tailbone, so draw the belly up. And then we'll come to extended child's pose. Just resting your forehead on the floor. And just take a few breaths there. Imagine with each inhalation, you're extending the tailbone down towards the earth, breathing into the back of the body. And as you exhale, just soften and release down into the earth. Good, couple more breaths. And then on your next inhalation, look forwards. We'll ground the hands and we'll come to downward facing dog. So spread your fingers wide. Lift your armpits, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And extend back through the heels. Stretch it out. Then as you inhale, we're going to bring the right foot forwards behind your left wrist taking the calf across the body. We're coming into pigeon pose. Good. You can shuffle the left foot back a little bit and then bring your fingertips either side of you. So keep the toes of the back foot tucked under. What tends to happen in this pose is the foot kind of wants to sickle out to the side because the ankle, again, is a weaker part of the body. So I want you to spread across the toes and hug your left ankle in so your heel is pointing directly up to the ceiling. Now draw your right knee back and your left knee forwards. Again, you're hugging the hips towards one another. If this is feeling a little bit strong, you can bring the foot closer to the groin, okay? That makes it easier. If you want to get a deeper stretch, you take the foot forward so the calf is parallel with the front of the mat. So drawing the right knee back, the left knee forwards. See if you can bring your hands to your hips, squeezing in towards one another. So hugging into the midline, lifting up out of the pelvis. Good, and then just let the pelvis sink down a little and place the fingertips once more. Great, now draw the belly up and we'll bow forwards. You can come to your forearms and just take a few breaths there. So this is where that surrendering we were talking about comes in handy. As you breathe, see if you can start to soften the area that you're stretching. So the right side of the hip. If you resist and think, oh my goodness, this feels awful, it will get tighter. So see if you can breathe into it. Just soften and melt into the pose. In the same way, non-surrender hardens the psychological form and creates like a sense of separateness, which is when we start to feel unhappy. So if we can soften and open, accepting what is, then we can open our hearts and more easily see the way forwards. And then placing the hands, we'll step it back to downward facing dog. Stretch back. And then on your next inhalation, look forwards. Bring the left foot behind your right wrist, the calf across the body. See if you can wriggle the toes of the right foot back and come down. So again, if you want to make it easier, bring the foot back towards the groin. If you want to make it harder, move it forwards towards the front of the mat. The toes of the back foot are tucked under, hug in with the ankle, so the heel points directly upwards. And then draw the left knee back, the right knee forwards, hugging into the hips. Keep hugging in. See if you can bring your hands to your hips. Draw your belly up, lift up, get long through the spine. And then keeping that length in the spine and lift in the chest, just allow the pelvis to sink down. Good, place the fingertips on the floor. Scoop the tailbone, so lift the belly up and away from your front thigh, and then again, we'll bow forwards. Just breathing into the stretch. With each exhalation, surrendering to the pose. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can keep drawing your outer left hip back and pressing your left little toe down into the earth. That's great. So Eve, just see if you can lift the belly up a little more. Tailbone goes under, belly lifts up. Good, that's great. And then hug in with your right ankle. Lovely. That's great, Louise. So So take one more breath there. And then grounding the hands once more, we'll step it back, downward facing dog. Looking forwards now, we're going to come forwards to plank, or to hands and knees if you prefer, and lower slowly down onto the belly. Release the feet. Bring your left forearm across the chest, and then bending the right knee, reach round for your foot. So just make sure that the legs don't move away from one another. Sometimes the right knee will fly out to the side. So draw the legs together, and then start to bring the foot down towards the buttocks. Good. Now spread your toes. See if you can spread that little toe out to the side. Press your foot into your hand. Scoop the tailbone and draw your inner belly to the left. Good. And then again, to deepen the stretch, you can press, see if you can press the top of, or just above your right knee, down into the earth more. And then release. So releasing the right side. Bring the right forearm in front of you. Again, make sure the legs are close together. Bend the left knee, reach round, take hold of the foot. Start by bringing the foot towards the buttocks. And then scoop the tailbone, spread your toes, especially that little toe. Press the foot back into the hand, and then draw your belly round to the right. Good. And then again, you can press the bottom of the left thigh just above the kneecap down into the floor more to deepen the stretch. And then release. Bringing the hands by the side, come back to hands and knees. And then lift the hips, take it back, downward facing dog. Inhale. We're going to come back to the first side, so one more round of pigeon. Bring the right foot behind the left wrist. Bringing the calf across the body, and then shuffle the left foot back. So tuck the toes of the back foot under. Good. So this time we're going to walk the hands round towards the right knee. And as you hug in with your left ankle, see if you can widen your left buttock to the side. So imagine you're drawing the outer left hip down more as you outer rotate the thigh. The inner thigh spirals up towards the ceiling. Good. Now keep hugging it in with the ankle at the same time so the heel doesn't fall out to the side. Great. Now lift the belly. And breathe. And then we'll walk the hands over to the other side. So keep that spaciousness in the left side of the hip. Now, as we walk the hands round to the left foot, you can actually use your right hand. See if you can inner rotate that right thigh so the right buttock broadens to the right side of the room. And then you can place the hands and bow forwards, taking the heart down towards the foot. Great. Activate the right foot, so press your right little toe down into the earth. Lift up the belly. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can see if you can wriggle your left foot back even more. And then inhaling, bring the hands back. Ground the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Stretch it back. Notice the difference between the left and the right hip. See if they feel any different. And then inhaling, look forwards. We'll bring the left foot behind your right wrist. Sit, tuck the toes under. So we'll start by walking the hands over to the left. Keep hugging your right shin in and see if you can rotate your right thigh so the outer right thigh moves towards the earth and the inner right thigh spins up towards the ceiling. And bow forwards towards your left knee. And then walk the hands over to the right. Using your hand, you can inner rotate your left thigh, so you turn the flesh in and down. Yeah. That's going that way. That's it. But keep the width here. So we don't want to lose this. Good. At the same time, as we keep the right thigh rotating out to the right, we want to inner rotate the left. Yeah, good. Making more space in the hip. Good. And then bring it back to center. Step it back, downward facing dog. And then inhaling, come down to the knees. And we'll come and sit. Great. Nice spacious hips. So let's cross the right leg over the left, bringing the left foot in towards you. So there's a couple of options here. If you find when you sit that you feel like you're leaning to the side, you can take hold of a block and just sit up on a block. Just makes it a little easier. Or if you're still feeling very uncomfortable, you can straighten the lower leg. So there's a couple of different options. Great. Now just come forwards, using your right hand, just widen the left thigh to the side. That's it. Place the right foot flat on the floor and then move the outer right hip down. Good. Bring your elbow across your thigh. Release the fingertips of the right hand to the floor just behind your buttocks and then inhale, lift up. If you press down into your right foot, it helps you to extend up through the crown of the head. And then from the inside, we'll turn your inner belly to the right to come into the twist. Good. Take a nice deep breath. If you can fill the back of your left waistline with the breath, and then draw the belly, ribs, chest deeper into the twist. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, opening up your chest. And then leading with your left eye, take the gaze towards the back of the room. And then inhaling, hug in with the pelvis and come back to center. Change the cross of the legs. Again, if you lean forward, see if you can lift your hips up, and with the left hand, just widen your right thigh to the side, and then use your thumb to bring your outer left hip down. That's it. If you're if your foot's too close in, sometimes it gets underneath your buttock. So if you bring the foot a little forwards towards me, that's it. And then you can sit with the pelvis level. That looks great. Good. So pressing the left foot, that would be, down into the floor. Bring the fingertips just behind you. Hook your elbow across the thigh. Inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. Exhale, draw the inner belly round to the left. Good. Take a nice deep breath. See if you can broaden the back of your right waistline with the breath. Again, lengthen up through the crown of the head, and then start to draw the belly, ribs, chest round towards the back of the room. Take the shoulders back. Take the sides of the throat back. And leading with your right eye, take the gaze to the back of the room. And then with your breath, broaden across the back of the heart, the back of the throat, across the back of the eyes and the skull. And then hugging into the pelvis, inhale, bring it back to center. Good. So we're going to do just 1 or 2 more stretches on your backs. If you are not in a warm room like us, then you might want a blanket or a jumper ready for Savasana. So just have those things ready and then come and lie on your backs. We'll keep the knees bent first of all, soles of the feet on the floor. Great. So take your right ankle and place it on the left thigh. Lifting the left foot off the floor, bring your left knee towards you so you can reach through and grab hold of the back of the thigh. Great. Now press your thigh into your hands. So take the sit bones down towards the earth again. Good. So again, if I were to come and place my hand under the middle of the back, I should be able to just about fit it under. So just draw it there. Yeah, great. Fantastic. And then work both of the feet. So spread across the toes, especially that little toe. And to deepen the stretch, basically we keep taking the left knee towards the chest. We take the right knee towards the front of the room. And at the same time, we take the sit bones back. So the head of the femurs are moving backwards down towards the earth. Then see if you can relax your shoulders and your throat. Then releasing your hands, take the arms wide. And then take the legs over to the right. So keep the feet exactly as they are. Great. In fact, cross the thighs a little more. Yeah. So you need to just fully cross the thighs. That's great. And take the gaze over the left shoulder. Good. And then inhaling, bring it back up to center. Uncross the legs. So place the soles of the feet on the floor first of all, and then place your left ankle on the right thigh? Yeah. Good. And then lift the right foot off the floor, reach through, grab hold of the back of your thigh. And again, see if you can press the thigh into the hands. So the femurs move back and down. Good. So again, to deepen the stretch, take your right knee more towards the chest. The left knee moves towards the front of the room. And we slightly arch the back, so the middle of the back lifts up off the floor. Work the feet, spread the toes. Relax the shoulders down. Relax the throat. Release the hands, cross the thighs. Take your arms wide, palms facing up. So cross the thighs a little more, Eve. Yeah, great. And then on your next exhalation, let the knees drop over to your left. Good. Take the gaze over the right shoulder. Just allowing the right shoulder to release down into the earth. And then inhaling, bring it back up to center. Uncross your legs. Just straighten up the body first of all, so make sure you're lying straight, and then extend the legs one at a time down to the floor. Take the feet a little wider than hip width apart. Just start by turning the toes in towards one another, and then let them flop out to the side. Good. Take your arms by your sides. Have them at least a few inches away of the body, from the body, and then turn the biceps out. So see if you can snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you. And then close your eyes. So just start by allowing the body to nestle down into the earth. Savasana is a really important part of the practice. It's where we assimilate the fruits of the practice, so that your body gets the benefit from the asanas. Just release any tension in the face. Allow the eyes to sink back in their sockets. The upper lids drape gently over the eyeballs. Relax the root of the tongue. Allow the skin and muscles of the neck to release down into the earth. And take your awareness to the heart center, observing the breath as it arises from the heart and dissolves back into the heart. And let each breath be precious. See if you can keep your awareness on every single breath in the next few minutes of your relaxation. And then gently bringing your awareness back to the body. start by noticing the contact that your body makes with the earth beneath you. Take a deeper inhalation and a longer exhalation. And then bringing movement to the fingers and the toes, circling the wrists and the ankles. And in your own time, draw the knees into the chest, roll it over to the right, and just pause on your right side, using your hands as a pillow. Just taking another moment to savor the stillness of the mind and the peace of the heart. And then very gently and slowly, use your hands to push yourselves back up to sitting. Coming to sit with the legs crossed and the hands together in front of the heart. And we'll just finish with a quote from Eckhart Tolle, who says that surrender is the simple but profound wisdom of yielding to rather than opposing the flow of life. So take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, we'll bow our heads with love, with respect, and with humility. Thank you, Namaste. So thank you for coming to class, and thank you to those at home for joining us. Have a good week.